Welcome to News Plus. This is Dr. Selim Salai, senior anchorman with NTR, one of the largest television stations around Africa, where we are covering more than 900 million viewers. I really want to thank our viewers for their amazing interest to Ntr TV in more than 40 countries. We are always focusing at News Plus for the truth, because the truth matters. And today I have a very important guest and very important agenda. We are focusing on the situation in Nigeria. As you know, there are very important developments going on in Nigeria, where the demonstrations in Lagos spiraled, and over the last 3 weeks with the curfews, many people are concerned. As you know, on one side, the Delta state of Nigeria, where the young person died with the SARS, and the Nigerians living in Europe and Canada and the UK and many places are demanding. So it has become a global situation, and the solution of SARS and bringing of the SARS personnel who killed the civilians to justice, and the release of those detained in the demonstrations, during the demonstrations, are becoming the most important part. And the security units oversee the process very carefully. And because the protests sometimes turn violent, it was reported that different types of curfews are happening. Actually, my colleague Esther James just came back from Nigeria, and she wasn't even able to talk to her family and able to see her family because of the curfews. And on the other side, Musa Sair, the spokesperson for the Nigerian army, told the reporters that the soldiers descending on the streets are part of the operation, and they will not target anti-SARS protesters. So I want to get the latest developments from a very important colleague of mine, Mustafa Efe. Mustafa Efe is the president of CAS, Center for African Studies, a very important think tank institution where Mustafa Efe is doing a phenomenal job. Mustafa, welcome to News Plus.
Thank you very much, Dr. Selim Salai. Thank you very much.
We are really honored that you are able to get your time. I know you are in an OECD meeting and you are very busy, and we want to thank you on behalf of NTR for your valuable time. Can you tell a little bit about who Mustafa Efe is, and also the Center for African Studies, and then we'll get right into what is going on in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you very much for your giving us this opportunity. I want to give the brief information about CAS is the non-governmental think tank, and it has been established by the people who have spent their years on the African continent on the various occasions, and some of them they studied, some of them they lived, some of them they had the non-governmental organizations programs, and they have also field knowledge, you see, about African continent, and they have worked in the various African countries and studied studies some also in different African countries. And just as the why is playing very important role is that generally in Turkey, unfortunately, news and information about the Africa in Turkey is approached more magazines. You see, just it is not taken seriously, this issue. Reason is that, you see, CAS is trying to do something on African issues, to providing the information, the right information from the ground, because almost no little lack of the sufficient and accurate information on the ground, unfortunately, in Turkey. Our role is to provide and to write information to our institutions and to media, and to as a Turkey, whatever we are doing on the ground, on the African ground, we are going to have have a strategy, and we are going to have the suitable ways which is going to fit into the African societies and also Turkish interests.
Thank you, Mustafa. So what is really going on in Nigeria, and why there is so much attention to Nigeria and little attention to, for example, Guinea?
You see, Nigeria is one of the most important countries in the African continent, because Nigerian economy anymore is became the first in the continent. By the last 2 years, South Africa was the first country actually in the continent in terms of the economy. But now Nigeria, with the 210 million population and a very strong and young population, very dynamic population is there, and with the approximately 4 million barrels of the oil every day they are exploiting, and reason is that you see Nigeria is the very important country in the African continent. Obviously, why there is no other attention to the neighboring countries, for example, Guinea, and so many things are happening in Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast also. They have, there are really very important developments, just very close to Mali as well. And but why Nigeria is important? Nigeria, besides this very strong young population, very strong economy, at the same time, Nigeria is one of the most important country of the African Union, and also Nigeria is the member of the developing 8 countries. And Nigeria was, as you know, just a Turkish former ambassador now took the post at the United Nations, and also Nigeria was the former General Congress president as a country, and Turkey took over from Nigeria that post. And we have also very good relations with the Nigeria in the developing 8 as a developing 8 country as well. On the other hand, Nigeria is from the historically in the region one of the most populous region as well. And when we look at even the colonial powers, first they came into the Nigerian soil actually to exploit and to enslave the African people. But in that time, by the beginning of the 19th century, colonialists couldn't penetrate into the Nigerian soil. Why? In that time, in the coast shore, they managed. But when they tried to get in, Muslim emirates, Kanem Borno Sultanate, today is the one of the province of the Nigeria, Kanem Borno, and even they have a Khalifa, they have a Sultan even today. Kanem Borno region, when they approach, they stop. And reason is that you see, colonial powers, they established this structure. Whatever problems are facing the Nigeria today, almost 200 years ago, exactly 200 years ago. Why I am saying that is that today, what we're talking about, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, you know, SARS, is the one of the police units. So when it is a police unit established in the Nigeria, exactly in the 1820, 200 years ago, and after that, step by step, gradually, these colonial powers they established new colonies after the Lagos, and when they established these colonies, they also considered situation of and society and cultural structure of the society as well. For example, when we look at the situation in the south of the Nigeria today and north of the Nigeria, why you can see in terms of the Muslim population, and so why it has been divided. It is the policy of the colonials actually. Even in that time, because of the torture of the colonial powers, some people, in that time, especially from Delta region, they embraced Islam to fight against the colonial powers. Reason is that you see today is the Nigeria in the spotlight, because Nigeria always, it has been remembered in the history with the coups, always the army coups happened. But recent years, approximately almost 20, 30 years, there is no coup. And democratization process is step by step is going, and actually democratic society was going to get established. But this distorted structure of the police unit, unfortunately, destabilizing the country today.
So this is very helpful. So you also believe there needs to be a restructuring of the police units, and I'm glad because I know your thesis was on Nigeria, and I want to thank you especially for touching from the historical standpoint, highlighting. So I'm receiving thousands of messages every day through WhatsApp from my Nigerian friends and colleagues, and the messages I received are in detail. I will read you one of them. One of them is saying, there are the hardworking Nigerians who want police brutality and bad governance to end. Then the second group is the fraudsters, known as Yuhu boys, who want SARS to end so they can operate freely. And then there are those who want a revolution and bring end to Nigeria so they can have an independent government. And this message is also, which has been sent to me, says that one thing for you to know is to start it starts from Lagos because they have a very high rate of crime, which the police use against them. But taking into account of the people dying in Nigeria, the SARS have killed nothing compared to the killing by Boko Haram, kidnappers, banditry in Zamfara, where a day almost 60 people killed. So as NTR, we are trying to be fair and balanced because this is a big nation with, as you said, 210 million people. So whatever happens in Lagos, people should understand whatever they burn, it belongs to them as well. So I'm trying to be fair and balanced and just here. Do you agree with this analysis? And what is your take in terms of your view, dear Mustafa? Who is really benefiting from getting actually an unrest and chaotic Nigeria?
Actually, it is crystal clear that Nigerians are not benefiting from this situation right now, and they are not going to benefit in future also from this chaos. Who is benefiting from the chaos? Always, just they should look at the history of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Because of the chaos, approximately 4 million people died, and who benefited? Who benefited? Definitely. Some companies and some countries, some ex-colonial powers, they are exploiting the gold, diamonds, and other uraniums and other minerals of the country. Meaning is they are benefiting. Also in Turkey, also in Nigeria, definitely Nigerians are not going to benefit. Yes, especially Nigerian youth, they are right. You see, they are right. Whatever they are today expecting and also putting on the table that they want, for example, main thing is the end SARS, obviously. Security chiefs, improve security, reduce petrol pump price. How come you see petrol price can be very high, for example, for these people? Every day, 4 million barrels of the oil every day, if they are exploring, how petrol price can be very high? Can you imagine? And also, last year there was a news, and some high school students, they produced oil, to use in the cars. You see, I don't know how to say, from the urine. You see, they have oil on the ground, but they are unfortunately lack of the oil. They are trying to find the alternatives and solutions for their daily life. What about the rest of the things? For example, obviously, you see, unemployment is very high in Nigeria also. They want to create the jobs, and also they want 50% of the government should be from youth, they say that. And another things, obviously, interesting, but they want more education, obviously, yeah, for each and every single country's youth. They want very same thing. But Nigerian youth, they want these. So you see, there is a potential is there definitely for Nigeria, and to return to its power, and it takes the leadership just to rebuild the auspicious atmosphere, you see, to activate the country's potential. Country has a very big potential, and you see, for this potential, just they should not waste the country's resource. Just I saw one of the news. Also, one imam of the mosque just spoke to the demonstrators by saying that please return whatever you looted from the shops, and to return to the owners. And what they did, you know, those young people, they brought back everything, whatever they took from the shops. Reason is that you see, with the approach of the very smooth approach to the Nigerian youth, they can sort out. Obviously, you see, we can see that this SARS accused of secured of this systematic torture, and you see this existence of also torture chambers within the Nigerian police force. They know, and they don't want anymore. By now, you know that SARS, actually government by now five times government said that we are going to dissolve, but they didn't. And instead of that, they brought another unit, you know, SWAT unit. They said that we are going to establish. But people, they obviously they don't want, you see, this situation. They don't want unlawful arrest. You see, they don't want torture. They don't want extrajudicial killings. For example, you see this one, when they see people surprised, for example, when they shoot, approximately 60 people died by now. This is the very sad, you see, for future of the Nigerian society. When we look at the from the other perspective, from the political perspective, also, you see, President Buhari said that, you see, to the youth, to the youth, by asking calm down in the process, and their voice, he said that your voice has been heard by the government, and clear, and we are responding for that. So you see, promise of the president should be listened by all sides, and just they should calm down. But at the same time, government must act. Otherwise, you see, we cannot take to one side this, that. And also Nigerian youth, you see, today is the social media is very important, and they ask some people or from outside, or some organizations, some maybe intelligence, ex-colonial intelligence, maybe they are also manipulating. You see, I am not saying that the Nigerian youth are not right, etc. Definitely they are right, but at the same time they should not play the game of these ex-colonial powers by getting manipulated via social media. You see that Imam, when he called, I really surprised when I see that is the Nigerian society. When Imam called in the Zango region, I think, in the Zango region, in Ilorin. You see, Ilorin is why Ilorin's ulama in the history, almost 1,000 years ago maybe, in the history, they are very powerful ulama. They had a very good society. You see, when it comes to the peace, Nigerian society was very peaceful. Today, I'm telling you, see, when I watch the news, I am really surprising when I see this Boko Haram, etc. It was very sad. Why? Because the Nigerian society historically almost more than 1,000 years they embraced Islam, and by the 1916 there was no other movement and etc. It is harming its society. But after these colonial powers, British colonial powers, when they established the station and when they established the colonial government in the first in the Lagos, after that in the rest of the two regions, you see they brought new movements to the Nigerian society. Reason is that you see those movements they mixed and now they started to create these problems in the Nigerian society. Nigerians should go back to the history. Should look at the history. Should look at the history of before the colonial powers. And when they see that, when they look at that history, they are going to be very proud. They are not going to follow up the games of the today's and ex-colonial powers, etc. They are today, for example.
Your message is well taken, but we have to stop at this time. I want to thank you, Mustafa Efe. Your analysis was very valuable. I think your message gets across clearly at this time. So you're saying they should not get into the tricks of the colonial powers. They should see who is actually gaining. You're saying the youth is right, and such brutality should stop, and the President Buhari gave his promise to take them to justice, and the government has to move also fast and bring to justice and understand the youth. So, Mustafa Efe, I want to thank you very much for your valuable time. I hope we will host you next time in our studio. I want to thank you and also the African Studies Center for doing an amazing job. Thank you very much. All the best, dear Mustafa Efe. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to News Plus. This is your host, senior anchorman, Dr. Selim Sulay. I am really thrilled and excited. News Plus has become one of the most viewed shows across Africa because we only focus on the truth, and the truth matters. Today, I have also another very important topic, the Nagorno-Karabakh situation and the current occupation going on. And I have very important guest, Ahmet Shahidov, who is the director of Azerbaijani Institute for Human Rights and Democracy, as well as Leyla Zeynalova, the president of Poland Azerbaijani House. Welcome, Ahmed. Welcome, Leyla, to News Plus.
Thank you for having us in your program.
Ahmed, I want to start with you, and then I will continue to Lale. Can you tell a little bit about yourself first, and what the Azerbaijan Institute for Human Rights does?
Yes, I thank you for having me in your program. I also greet you from Baku, Azerbaijan. And my name is Ahmet Shahidov. I am head of Azerbaijan Institute for Democracy and Human Rights. And last 7 years, I take this position in Azerbaijan and involved in defending of human rights in Azerbaijan, democratic issues, especially rights of Azerbaijani refugees and captives, the citizens who are taken hostage and are being kept in Armenia since 1993. So I used to have several speeches in different European organizations such as OSCE, Council of Europe, UN, and another international organizations defending the rights of Azerbaijan refugees and Azerbaijani hostages. Now we are in war with Armenia, and since September 27, as you know, we are in active war with Armenia and Azerbaijani army. liberates our occupied territories.
Thank you, Ahmet. Lale Zeynalova, the president of Poland-Azerbaijan House. Lale, can you tell a little bit about yourself and what does Poland-Azerbaijan House does?
Thanks for having me. Greetings from Poland. Shortly, I would like to say that I'm the head of the Azerbaijan House in Warsaw last 1 year. I live in Warsaw last 3 years. In Poland, everything is fine. We don't forget about our motherland here, and we are fighting for the truth abroad. We do all the best to help the homeland. Thank you.
Lale, as NTR, we are trying to give the fair and balanced news to our African viewers, more than 900 million viewers across 40 countries. And it is very important for our viewers to understand there is an occupation going on for more than 30 years where there are, despite many UN resolutions, there has been no backing from the Armenian side. And now, actually, Azerbaijan is trying to really try to get back the rights which has been also recognized by the United Nations. And unfortunately, after the third brokered, truce, I want to ask Ahmed first, why did actually this truce have been again violated by Armenia, and why are they attacking the civilians directly rather than fighting inside Karabakh? Why are they sending ballistic missiles, which are actually against human rights, right into the heart of Azerbaijan? Are they in panic? What are they trying to do, dear Ahmed?
Yes, first of all, I want to briefly inform you about the current situation on front line. And today, the situation on the Nagorno-Karabakh front remains tense. Thus, Armenia, which has not complied with the latest ceasefire agreement, continues to fire on civilians and civilian targets in the territory of Tatar region of Azerbaijan. And this shelling continued today as well, and military attacks from Armenia's territory against Azerbaijan along bordering Zengilan, Gubadli, and Lachen regions are open acts of aggression as enshrined in the UN Charter. So in response to these provocations, the Azerbaijani army launched a counterattack, destroying these enemy firing points and continuing to liberate occupied Azerbaijani lands. Recently, the Azerbaijani army has been able to retake a number of cities and villages from Armenian occupiers. And yesterday, Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev announced on his Twitter account that the Azerbaijani army has liberated several villages of Zengilan, Jabrayil, Gubadli regions, and the city of Gubadli from the Armenian occupiers. So not even a month has passed today. A part of Fizuli, Hadrut, Jabrayil, Zengilan, Kalbajar, and Gubadli districts have already been liberated from occupiers. Also, official Yerevan denies it. The reality is that Armenia is directly involved in this conflict, because missile attacks, as you mentioned, to Gubadli and Lachen districts of Azerbaijan from Goruz and Gafan districts of Armenia once again proves Armenia's direct participation in this conflict. And Azerbaijan side has informed all international community. As human rights defenders, we have informed all our partners in Europe. In particular, Azerbaijan side informed OEC Minsk Group co-chairs and mediator countries about deliberately continued shelling from the occupied Aghdara district to Naftalan and Tatar districts using multi-launch rocket systems, as well as gross violation of the humanitarian ceasefire regime. As a human rights defender, I can say that the 4 resolutions adopted by the UN Security Council on Nagorno-Karabakh conflict in 1993 and 1994 have not been implemented for the last 30 years. But however, the Azerbaijani army has been able to implement almost 2 of these resolutions over the past 30 days. And as a result of the recent successful military operations of the Azerbaijani army, UN Security Council resolutions number 874 and 884 are considered to have been implemented. The other two resolutions, 822 and 853, are expected to be implemented in the coming weeks. So today, the criminal regime in Nagorno-Karabakh is resorting to provocations. One photo was spread on other Armenian social networks yesterday, and this photo shows the meeting of commanders of Armenian armed forces taking place at kindergarten. And they camouflaged military headquarters inside the kindergarten, risking the lives of kids. And so what else one can expect from war criminal who killed civilians with missiles? So unlike Armenia, the Azerbaijani army never targets civilians. If we look at Khankandi and other cities, we see that the Armenian army sets up firing points and military facilities where people live, and from there they target Azerbaijani side, and it is the how to say the style used by terrorists. And missiles were launched at Azerbaijani cities from there. Those military points, there may be civilian casualties there, but it was not done on purpose. And unlike Armenia, Azerbaijan does not deliberately target Armenian people. And the international community's insufficiently active position should be noted among the factors that led to the events of September 27. And by committing aggression against Azerbaijan, continuing to hold Azerbaijan territories under military occupation, Armenia grossly violated international law. Even adopting for well-known UN Security Council resolution was not enough to end the Armenian aggression and eliminate its consequences. In the case of the Armenian aggression, alas, they remained on paper, and Armenia refused to comply with the UN resolutions, and no one in the world called the aggressor state to account. And this is an evident practice of double standards in the world, especially in European organizations, in European countries. And Nikol Pashinyan administration has been moving toward the events of September 27 for more than 2 years, and they can and should have been stopped at every stage after the next provocative statement or action. And there were all political and diplomatic possibilities for this. Unfortunately, this did not happen. Instead, we heard stereotyped neutral statements addressed to Armenia and Azerbaijan calling for peace and maintaining balance between the two sides, and this approach has proven to be ineffective. It's unfair and wrong to put on the same level the aggressor and the victim of this aggression, the occupier and the victim of this occupation. So I think everything will depend on how the Armenia behaves, because it violated the the first two ceasefires, and within 24 hours after the first ceasefire based on humanitarian consideration, Armenia brutally broke the truce by firing ballistic missiles at Ganja, the second largest city of Azerbaijan, at night. And the first attack killed 10 people. Many people were injured, and then they struck Ganja again at night, and this time the number of victims was higher. Therefore, we had to respond. So as well, for the second ceasefire, we have a chronology of violations of the ceasefire by Armenia, and they broke it exactly 2 minutes after the scheduled ceasefire. So a new truce came into force 2 days ago, and 4 minutes later, several shells were launched at the city of Tartar, and we do not respond. We hope it was accidental, but if this continue, of course, we will have to respond adequately. So as for the visits of the foreign ministers of the two countries to Moscow and Washington, I can say that the 30-year conflict cannot be resolved in 1 or 2 meetings, I think. Of course, this is quite a complicated issue, and we must be realistic, and it's impossible to solve the problems that have existed for almost 30 years with 1 or 2 meetings. However, we have always shown that the Azerbaijani side is constructive, and the Azerbaijani side has always supported a political solution to this conflict, to this issue. However, Armenia must take the first step for this, and official Yerevan must clearly show the respect for international law and UN resolutions. And first of all, Armenia must officially recognize that Nagorno-Karabakh and other 7 regions are Azerbaijani lands, and then withdraw its troops from those lands. After that, we can start constructive peace talks. Otherwise, there can be no real peace talks as long as the occupation continues, and any ceasefire agreements reached between the sides will be temporary.
From Baku, Azerbaijan, I want to turn to Warsaw, Poland, and want to talk to Lale. Lale, from your perspective, how is the situation? You know the Poland, you're at the heart of Europe, you're living there for 3 years. How is in general, the media in Poland as well as in Europe is taking the situation? Are they objective, or are they taking one side or the other side? And from your perspective, why do you think Armenia is directly attacking the civilians? And what is your idea from the European perspective?
I would like to tell about the my perspective on why the world does not have a proper awareness about the also Hojali massacre, and thus the Armenian trying to repeat that with the recent attack on civilians in Azerbaijan back in July and over the last 3 weeks. I would like to outline that the Hojali massacre of 26 February 1992 has been reacted to by numerous countries, be it on parliamentary and state level or on the level of committees on foreign relations. We have nearly 20 countries, among which of are Turkey, Colombia, Mexico, and Pakistan, as well as 19 states in the US, recognizing the Hojali massacre as genocide and a horrific act of violence toward humanity. Frankly speaking, the international community as a whole is not able to always provide the proper evaluation on modern historical event and facts where numerous authentic documents on Armenian barbarism were registered. We hope that recent events on Nagorno-Karabakh and the liberation of historical and legitimate territorial integrity of Azerbaijan would shed a brighter light on this very significant issue, respectively. Hojali massacre is an act of barbarism and ethnic cleansing attempt by Armenians. Unfortunately, has its shadow effects during last week with attack on several cities beyond the conflict zone. As an example, the active shelling of city of Ganja, the second largest city of Azerbaijan, killing nearly 20 and wounding hundreds were undertaken during the night when the civilian population was sleeping, and I think there is no justification for that, and we needed to register yet another war crime. And I think that it definitely sees the correlation that this situation mentioned. So, yes.
This is very helpful. I want to thank you for joining us from Poland, Warsaw. My next question is actually, which I'm very curious about. Ahmed and Lale, your views, both from Baku as well as from Warsaw. Who is sponsoring Nikol Pashinyan? And what is the position of Russia and other forces in this conflict? Ahmed?
Yes, it's very clear, it's well known that Nikol Pashinyan authorities sponsored by Soros Foundation based in US, because a couple of years ago when it was started revolution in Armenia, US-based foundations, in particular Soros Foundation, very closely involved in this process. And after these events, Nikol Pashinyan came to the power, and start to promote U.S. interest in Armenia indirectly in the region. So this is the first fact, and President of Ilham Aliyev during his speech, during his interviews, and appeals to other nations once again stated that Nikol Pashinyan is sponsored by Soros Foundation. This is first, but also there is very significant role of Russian Federation in the region as well. Russia is one of the main ally of.
World is supporting Pashinyan? Or are there different groups? So I understand Soros, but do you think the entire Western world, like France, UK, Germany, are they also supporting Pashinyan? Or is there a different situation about really who is supporting Pashinyan outside the Soros group?
This situation is, is complicated, and in general, Armenia is supported by different Christian countries in Europe, but mainly by France. France is historically a friend of Armenia, and this is first. And also, we observe the Russian influence in the region. Also, Russia supports Armenia politically and militarily. And also Russia is ally of Armenia. They are the members of collective security agreement organizations. And it's also has some influence in these clashes. And we have some unofficial information that since September 27, during the first clashes in Nagorno-Karabakh, Russia convey some weapons, military facilities to Armenia. So it's also a fact. But anyway, there are some very strange situations. Those countries who are against Turkey in Europe, they are also willing to support and to help Armenia in this conflict, because Armenia spreads false information, fake news about the Turkish involvement in this conflict, and it's completely false, and there is no ground for this news.
Let me turn to Lale. Lale, from your view, who is supporting Pashinyan?
It's no longer a secret that Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan has been sponsored by Soros Foundation to organize a velvet revolution in Armenia and loosen the Armenian ties with Russia. Now Armenia is considered to be pro-Western rather than pro-Russia. That, of course, is unacceptable for Russia and carries direct threats to Russian interests in the region. During the early 19th, Azerbaijan has lost the battle, which lasted for 3 years, and now, just months later, Azerbaijan has liberated quite an attractive part of Karabakh and restored the historical borders with Iran. Obviously, there are a lot of Armenian side to be worried of, as the international community, they were relying upon failed to show the expert support to Armenian. Well, that's what would happen if the historical justice and international law is not on your side. Armenia is in the state of panic, and that is proper fact, inevitability, reality. So about Russia, unlike the co-chair countries like France and US that are nearly openly provided the support to the aggressor, Armenia, it is Russia that firmly keeps its neutrality and objectivity through all the parties have numerously called for the ceasefire. It has been clear how they fortified their calls in terms of monitoring who breaks the humanitarian truce. From that perspective, I consider that the activity of OSCE Minsk group, especially the involvement of co-chairs countries, should be modified, as we have never reality on the ground.
Thank you, Lale. When I look at from Turkey perspective, I'm in Ankara. Clearly, the tensions rising in Eastern Mediterranean, the current effect of and the support of Turkey to Libya, and the close support of Turkey, though not engaged in the war, Turkish support to Azerbaijan is especially making French President Macron very much upset. And even Jean-Luc Emmanuel, who is the opposition leader in Paris in France, he said that he's not going to support Macron on the argument of what he's doing against Erdogan, as well as what he is doing in terms of defying Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. So clearly, there are other points where they are also eventually trying to take Turkey in and corner Turkey in a way because of very close ties with Azerbaijan. But Turkey is not the old Turkey, and Azerbaijan is not the old Azerbaijan. They are very strong, they are united, and they are only seeking the democracy and human rights, as Ahmed has mentioned, which is just liberating the occupied region. And we clearly see for the last 30 years, negotiations did not work. And when Armenia attacked, Azerbaijan had to respond, but this time Azerbaijan was prepared. And I believe personally, Azerbaijan will not stop until fully the occupied region based on the UN resolutions have been liberated. From your both perspective, from Baku as well as from Warsaw, how do you see the role of Turkey and why the liberation of Karabakh is important for Turkey? Ahmed?
You know, Turkey is also one of the key countries in the region, and if we take into account that we are very close relations with Turkey, also Turkey and Azerbaijan, as we call it, one nation, two states, we have very close relations. And Turkey stands next to Azerbaijan. First of all, we are a very brother country. And the second and main reason for that, Turkey stands for implementation of international law, requirements of UN Security Council resolutions. And Turkey always supports the international law, not only in Azerbaijan, as you mentioned, in other regions, in Africa region, in Arab geography and other countries. And I think the other countries, all international community should act as Turkey does and support the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan, because it's based on in the requirements of UN Security Council resolutions. And Turkey recent common military exercises in Azerbaijan, we call it Turaz Eagle 2020, also affects affects the situation in the region. After that, also Turkey looks like a guarantee of the security of Azerbaijan as well. But in fact, there is no any Turkish soldiers in Nagorno-Karabakh today, and there is no need for that, because we have 10 million population and we have right now 100,000 soldiers in our army, and we are fighting against Armenia, who has only 2 or 3 million population, with poor economy, with very poor army, and no need to invite any external soldiers from Turkey, from other countries. We are enough strong with our army and with our military industry. But Turkey always supports politically Azerbaijan, and all statements on the level of President of Turkey, Minister of National Defense, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Turkey, also gives power to our moral support. But anyway, if third countries will be involved in this conflict, sure, Turkey will support very closely Azerbaijan in terms of military support, and because we have mutual agreements between Turkey and Azerbaijan about military cooperation and to support each other to defend the state borders. But anyway, today there is no fact that any Turkish soldiers are in Azerbaijan and basically in Nagorno-Karabakh frontline, and no needed. Only Azerbaijani army fights and very successfully launched these military operations and continue to liberate occupied territories. And in fact, that we have very modern weapons, and sometimes foreign journalists, foreign international organizations, our friends from European organizations say that you use Turkey weapons in your army, but in fact that we use not only Turkish army, we buy weapons from Turkey, from Russia, from Ukraine, from Belarus, from even Israel. We buy it, we give money and buy these weapons. But Armenia receives the modern weapons for free as gift from Russia, from France, from different European organizations, from US. But recently we observe continuously conveying transportation of these modern weapons to Armenia completely for free, and it makes this situation escalation in the region. So Turkey's role is very important for us, but today we feel only political support of Turkey. No need as a military involvement of Turkey in this conflict yet. But if third countries will involve this conflict and will stand next to Armenia and fight against Azerbaijan, of course we will call our friends, brother countries such as Turkey, Pakistan, and other countries to help us to liberate our lands, to defend our state borders, to restore our sovereignty.
Thank you, Ahmet. Great analysis. Lale, from your perspective, why is the liberation of, Karabakh, Nagorno-Karabakh is so important for Turkey? And how do you think this 30-year, occupation will play out at the end, Lale?
Of course, I think the wish of every Azerbaijan and probably every Turkish citizens wish that Azerbaijan will find in war. But of course, every time we support each other, but now Turkey can support and can help Azerbaijan only the morally on the politics side, not military, because we no need in. And also we have a main border with Turkey, it's Nakhchivan, and maybe the Nakhchivan will be reconnected to Azerbaijan. I would like to talk about this topic. I think, yes, that the wish of every Azerbaijan and probably every Turkish citizen is, but unfortunately we have to accept the aspect of real politics where the territorial integrity of every independent state must be respected, as reconnecting also Nakhchivan to Azerbaijan requires the province of Zangezur to be part of Azerbaijan as well. That may cause direct cooperation with Russia. But in case Armenia accepted the peaceful resolution of Nagorno-Karabakh conflict according to basic Madrid principles, the roadmaps, the ground communication exchange under the provision of reciprocal security by Armenia and Azerbaijan could have taken place. But as our President Ilham Aliyev stated, it's too late already to conduct negotiation on the basic Madrid principles. So after the full return of Karabakh under the jurisdiction of Azerbaijan, there would be a possibility for both sides to discuss this type of issue.
Thank you. Ahmet, as I understand, on the ground now, since you're in Baku, 20% of the areas have been liberated. And now, especially the part which is connecting Karabakh to Armenia is about to be taken back. And with that, there is an expectation that the movement is speeding up, and the clearance of Karabakh and liberation, of course, there is no rush, but it may it may be speeding up. What is your observation, Ahmet, on that?
You know, after the third ceasefire agreement reached in U.S., Azerbaijani army follows these truths, and now there is a ceasefire between two sides. Azerbaijani army will respond to only to provocation from Armenian side, but now there is no active clashes as we observed a couple days ago. There is ceasefire on front line, but anyway, the next how to say mission for Azerbaijani army to get back this we call Lachin corridor. It's very strategic area for Azerbaijan, and it links Armenia with Nagorno-Karabakh. After getting back this Lachin corridor, we will cut any ground relations, any ground contacts of Armenia with Nagorno-Karabakh. After that, I think the process will change, however, and Armenia will have to be agreed with peaceful negotiations and preconditions put by Azerbaijan side. And the very crucial, very important point is Lachin corridor. After retaking this corridor, I think the further process will go on. So, but anyway, last 1 month, Azerbaijan army has liberated 4 regions. 4 regions, Zengilan, Gubadlı, Jabrayil, and several Khojavand, Hadrut, and several villages of Tartar and Kalbajar region. So I think now there is no active clashes, but these truce, this ceasefire agreement has humanitarian purposes in order to take dead bodies on front and to exchange these dead bodies, exchange prisoners of war between the conflicting sides. But anyway, Armenian army continues its provocative acts by shelling civilian, in Azerbaijani side, civilian village, civilian settlements. And so Azerbaijan, in response to this provocation, I think will restore these military operations, and at the same time will liberate its occupied lands.
Question, Ahmed. Thank you for Lale as well. You know, yesterday there was a terrorist attack by PKK in Iskenderun, in a very important city, which I'm from as well, in Hatay in Turkey. And we are also getting reports that PKK and YPG, which is supported by Western countries, even though it is recognized as a terrorist organization at every level, they are now actually, as foreign fighters in Karabakh, there are also paid, ones that are fighting against Azerbaijani, soldiers. Lale, have you heard anything about this, that foreign fighters, paid fighters from PKK and YPG fighting against Azerbaijan inside Karabakh? So the question is, are there foreign fighters inside Karabakh, which is PKK and YPG, to support Armenia against against the liberation? Lale, Ahmed, I want to get your opinion. We may have a technical problem on the Warsaw side. From your perspective, Ahmed, is there foreign fighters fighting next to Armenia against Azerbaijan?
It is fact, and among the dead Armenian soldiers, we have found a lot of members of PKK and other external mercenaries that came from especially Arab countries. They are Armenian ethnically Arab citizens. They came after bombing in Beirut in August. Armenian authorities and declared about inviting all Armenians living in Arab countries to Armenia, and they located them in occupied Nagorno-Karabakh. And now the Armenian authorities use them in battleground against Azerbaijan. Also, there are a lot of PKK members that they are located and they have military camps in Nagorno-Karabakh, and this is fact that they are fighting against Azerbaijan as well. And Armenian authorities spread some false information about the Turkey involvement in this conflict, and by using this so-called information, they attract all these PKK members, PKK militants, and other terrorist organizations who used to fight against Turkey. Now they are fighting against Azerbaijan as well, and helps Armenia in this conflict. So this is fact, and there are several dead bodies of these members of terrorist organizations among the Armenian soldiers. And because when Azerbaijan army liberated these territories, there are a lot of hundreds of dead bodies of Armenian soldiers, and we have found, and all these facts are well documented. There are a lot of bodies of PKK members and PYD terrorist organizations in Nagorno-Karabakh. So basically, historically, PKK and Armenia supported each other, and Armenian terrorist organization called Asala, the same terrorist organization that used to kill Turkish diplomats in Europe in 1970s. So this is they are acting together, operating together in Nagorno-Karabakh as well against Azerbaijan. So I think we have a lot of evidence, but unfortunately the double standards that going in European organizations in Europe countries, they did not recognize this organization as terrorist organization. That's why they have enough contacts in European organizations, in European Parliament. They have their own lobby links with different European organizations, and they use these relations against Turkey, against Azerbaijan, and now they are actively participating in this fighting in Nagorno-Karabakh against Azerbaijan.
Eventually, everything comes back, and whatever, even though time passes, including the Khojaly genocide, we know that justice will be served, and all these, violations and human rights violations that are happening will come back to justice. Ahmet, I want to ask the final question, because Turkey is also a guarantee on Nahchivan. We have seen at certain points shellings to Nahchivan. Do you think if these shellings in the future continue, there can be a situation where, to protect Nahchivan and the territorial integrity, the Azerbaijan-Nahchivan border has to be connected for protection purposes?
Since first days of these clashes, Armenian army tried to provoke Azerbaijan and violated the ceasefire not only in Nagorno-Karabakh. They also attacked the state border between Armenia and Azerbaijan in Tavuz region as well. And a couple days ago, they organized a missile attack to Nakhchivan Autonomous Republic of Azerbaijan as well. And this missile came to Ordubad region. And taking into account that there is historical agreement between Turkey and Azerbaijan named Kars Agreement about the defending of Nakhchivan by Turkey. So sure, if in the future Armenia will attempt to attack Nakhchivan, openly. So Azerbaijani army will respond to these attacks. At the same time, Turkey, according to Kars agreement, have to defend Nakhchivan as well, military. So I think Armenia will not risk to attack Nakhchivan again because they know the realities, they know the agreement between Turkey and Azerbaijan. But anyway, it will, if they will attempt to attack Nakhchivan, they will see the Turkey in front of them as well. So, but anyway, they have used to attack Nakhchivan once, a couple days ago. But I think they will not risk to attack Nakhchivan. The main clashes are going on in Nagorno-Karabakh zone, and day by day, Azerbaijani army retaking these territories from Armenian occupiers, are liberating these Azerbaijani lands from Armenian occupation, and day by day, Armenia gets more weak. And today, also Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan ordered all Armenian youths to go to front. No one wished to die in Nagorno-Karabakh because of how to say a wrong policy of Nikol Pashinyan. So I think in a couple of weeks, maybe in November, maybe in December, this war will end, and Azerbaijan will restore its territorial integrity, and Armenian authorities will have to start this peaceful negotiation with Azerbaijan and to accept all preconditions put by Azerbaijan about recognizing Nagorno-Karabakh and other regions as Azerbaijan lands, and withdraw all Armenian troops from occupied territories. This is not preconditions of Azerbaijan only. This is the requirements of UN Security Council resolutions adopted in 1993 and 1994. Also, Azerbaijani army has implemented two of these resolutions, and still another two resolutions still remains. So I think Armenia will not risk to fight till the end, because it will be a risk for existence of Armenia as country, because only after 1 month of these clashes, of this war, Armenia is is very weak and ask for help from Russia, from European countries, and these countries are supporting Armenia with military equipment, with weapons, but no any European soldier, no Russian soldier will risk to come to Karabakh and fight against Azerbaijan, because Azerbaijani army is quite strong and prepared. Also, there is, as you mentioned before, there is Turkey factor as well, and Turkey repeatedly warned all international community and countered that if any third countries will involve in this conflict, Turkey will come to Nagorno-Karabakh, and Turkish soldiers will fight against these occupiers together with Azerbaijani brothers. So no any countries will risk to military join to this conflict.
My last question is about, let's fast forward 5 years from now or 3 years from now. Do you think Pashinyan will be in power? Do you think Karabakh will be liberated? And do you foresee a peaceful region where actually Armenia establishes its relationship as equal partners with Azerbaijan and with Turkey? Because Azerbaijan is not fighting against Armenians. Azerbaijan is fighting and trying to liberate its own regions and fighting against the corrupt region, Pashinyan regime. So, he's an adventurer guy. So looks like if you fast forward 3 to 5 years, how do you think will things play out, Ahmet? And we will close with this comment.
Yes, I think that Nikol Pashinyan will not stay in power. Maybe in a couple of weeks, the Armenian population, Armenian nation will demand and his, how to say, to go out from the power, because all these processes take to tragedy for Armenian people, Armenian nation. That's why if Armenian people will think very clever, they will push Nikol Pashinyan to leave this power and invite more democratic, more how to say, clever persons to come to power and to start peaceful negotiations with Azerbaijan. What about together future of Nagorno-Karabakh and possibility of together living of Armenians and Azerbaijanis in this region? We have this experience already. Azerbaijan is a multicultural country, and we have more than 40 nations living in Azerbaijan right now, and even Armenians live in Azerbaijan today. We have more than 40,000 Armenians living in Azerbaijan, in different cities in Baku and in different cities in different regions of Azerbaijan. So we have this experience. We're together living, and we have enough experience when Armenians and Azerbaijanis living in Russia, in Georgia, in Ukraine, and in other countries. They not only live together, there are a lot of families that fixed families with Armenian and Azerbaijanis, but in Armenia there is no Azerbaijanis, no Azerbaijanis living in Armenia. So I think the Armenian residents of Nagorno-Karabakh, they are citizens of Republic of Azerbaijan. So after liberating Nagorno-Karabakh and all other surrounding regions, Azerbaijan as a multicultural country will continue its tradition to have these Armenian residents as its citizens, and we will not have any problems to have them in our territory as our citizens. Of course, if they will agree to be inside the Azerbaijan, with great pleasure we can accept them as our citizens.
Ahmet, also in Turkey, we are multicultural. We have more than 100,000 Armenian Turkish citizens. So it's all about valuing each other as human. I'm out of time now, but we definitely would love to host you again. I want to thank you on behalf of Ntr TV, dear Ahmet Shahidov, the director of Azerbaijan Institute for Democracy and Human Rights, for your amazing analysis, as well as Layla Zeynalova, the president of Poland-Azerbaijan House. Stay tuned to NTR and stay tuned to News Plus, ladies and gentlemen. We are looking forward to bring you the truth and only the truth. Continue to send your WhatsApp messages and we'll get back to you with a fair and balanced view and bring you the vision around the globe for peace and harmony and justice. This is Yavuz Selim Sulay, senior anchorman with NTR TV, providing you greetings from News Plus. Take care and all the best. Bye.